My wife got in shape and decided she deserved something better than me. She asked for a divorce, but quickly regretted it. Now, before we begin today's video, I need your help. We've noticed the channel's momentum has slightly waned, and subscribing is a fantastic way to support us. It's quick, free, and helps us keep creating amazing content. Your support means the world to us. Let's grow this channel together. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's get to the video. Hey everyone, it's Dave. Get ready, because my life has become a complete mess lately. I'm 34 years old, a warehouse manager here in Columbus. My life wasn't extraordinary, but it was stable. I had a good job, a nice house, and was married to Carla. We'd been together for 5 years, married for 3, and I truly believed our relationship was thriving. We weren't the overly romantic soap opera couple, but it worked. The bills were paid, we went out to dinner occasionally, and had our share of arguments. The typical ebb and flow of a marriage, or so I thought. A few months ago, Carla became intensely focused on fitness. Suddenly, she began frequenting a fancy downtown gym, more of a health spa than a typical gym, and hired a personal trainer, Justin. She started talking about meal prepping, fitness macros, and detox plans. I didn't mind. In fact, I encouraged it, believing everyone deserves to feel good about themselves. Besides, I figured it was just a phase, like when she tried learning to knit or became interested in tarot cards. At first, I even helped. I took on more household chores, dishes, laundry, grocery shopping, to give her more time for workouts, thinking it was a way to show my support. But things changed, and not for the better. The more weight Carla lost, the bigger her ego became. She became obsessed with her image, spending hours in front of the mirror, adjusting her workout clothes, and trying to capture the perfect Instagram photo. It wasn't just about her anymore. She craved an audience. I recall one Friday night when I invited her to watch a movie and relax together as we used to. She scoffed, "Dave, I don't have time to sit around. I have goals to meet." What goals? It wasn't like she was training for a marathon or preparing to climb Everest. She'd just juice cleanse and drink some awful green juice. But whatever. I figured I was being overly critical. Then, one morning, everything began as usual. I was half asleep, drinking my coffee before work, while she was sipping her famous green smoothie with spinach, dressed in workout gear, glued to her phone, as if her life depended on it. Out of nowhere, she said, "I deserve more from life." I was still groggy, but what? She put down her smoothie and looked at me seriously. "This marriage is holding me back, Dave. I'm going to ask for a divorce." I thought it was a joke, but she didn't even offer a small smile. Her expression was as cold as stone. "I've moved on," she said, as if I were an outdated piece of furniture she wanted to discard. "You wouldn't understand." I stood there, completely speechless. My wife, the woman I'd shared years with, was gone. The sudden, unexpected news dropped like a bomb, leaving me reeling. I struggled to process her words, a potent cocktail of shock and fury churning within me. How could she have moved on so easily? "What?" I breathed, my voice strained, sounding likely like a child, besieged by endless questions. "Dave, I'm working on myself, striving to be the best version of myself. Honestly, this life isn't utilizing my potential. I crave more than this house, this routine, you." Her words, devoid of any attempt at softening the blow, stung. I had clearly been part of the problem. Carla grabbed her gym bag and departed without a word of farewell. I stared at the half-empty green juice glass, adrift in a sea of confusion, utterly lost. That workday had become a blur, autopilot mode taking over while my mind spun with the details of Carla's announcement. Was it real? Would she truly leave? We'd had disagreements before, but divorce? It all felt so abrupt. From her tone, it seemed she'd been meticulously plotting the next few weeks. The crack in our marriage now undeniably apparent. She barely spoke to me except for arranging the house matters or scheduling mediation sessions. She'd return late, claiming gym sessions or time with friends. Her Instagram feed pulsed with selfies and captions like, "New chapter, who are you?" and "Living my best life." Each post served as a slap in the face, a constant reminder that she had already embarked on a new path, another life. One night, I discovered she had deleted all our photos from her profile. Wedding pictures, anniversary posts, everything. I had been erased from her life. Meanwhile, her new posts were flooded with likes and comments praising her radiant transformation. The comments were an insult. Nobody there knew the depth of my distress. One day, while getting ready for work, I heard her on the phone, a false, sweet tone she employed when seeking something from me. "I feel so liberated now, finally doing what makes me happy," she cooed, laughing. "He doesn't get it, stuck in the past." That's when the pieces fell into place. Carla wasn't just leaving me, she was reinventing herself, and I was the weight she needed to shed. But I'm not one to simply bow down and accept it. She thought she could simply walk over me and take everything with her. She was mistaken. This was just the beginning. If she wanted a fight, she'd get one. One day, while grabbing lunch at a cafe near work, I was engrossed in my phone when I overheard two men seated nearby discussing a fitness influencer they'd discovered online. I didn't pay much attention until one of them mentioned her name, Carla. My stomach lurched. They were laughing, referring to her online presence as a premium content provider. At first, I dismissed it as a joke, but then they pulled up her Instagram page. It was truly Carla, posting links for premium workouts. I was distraught. This wasn't a passing phase. She was leveraging her newfound freedom to become an online attention grabber, monetizing her image. I rushed home to confront her. She sat calmly on the couch, scrolling through her phone. What was this OnlyFans business I was hearing about? She lifted her eyes, impassive. My body, my choices. It's no longer your concern. This isn't my problem anymore. We're still married, but she was flaunting herself online while I was trying to hold things together. She rolled her eyes as if I were a dinosaur who didn't understand the modern world. It's not about selling me, it's about creating content. Lots of people do that. Besides, it's not like you're still paying my bills. Then it clicked. Carla didn't just want a divorce, she craved a completely new life where she was the star and I was a disposable extra. She had no shame, actually quite proud of her actions. In the following weeks, things only worsened. She started dressing as if for a reality show. Tight dresses, high heels, excessive makeup, as if heading to a red carpet event, but it was just the grocery store. The captions under her photos got progressively worse. Living my truth without more constraints, she's no longer my wife, but a force of nature, brazen. While Carla thrived on appearances, I dealt with the mess. Lawyers, paperwork, and the like, but she wasn't as untouchable as she thought. My lawyer, Steve, a true hero, discovered she was seeing someone. And guess who? It was exactly who you'd imagine. Stay tuned, folks, it's going to get messy. I'll keep you updated. Update 1, and here I am again, R. Dave, the near-divorced one, your favorite, live streaming from the rise of my ex's fitness empire. If you're in the know, you know my wife, Carla, decided she was too good for me, left, and now parades around thinking she's a social media celebrity. But today, I'm going to reveal who's fueled this illusion. Justin, that's right, her personal trainer. Super cliche, huh? As soon as I saw his name, I knew it wasn't just a professional relationship. Justin is the kind of guy who seems plucked from a dating reality show, buff, tanned, salon perfect, and shallow as a dish. He thrives on smiles and charm, like he's the star of a low-budget romantic comedy. Carla didn't even try to hide it. She'd come home from training radiant. Justin claimed I'd never been so strong. Carla, you're the best student I've ever trained, I'm sure he said, part of his script. After a few weeks, he even stopped pretending it was just friendship. He started dropping his name into every conversation. Justin's taking me to a new vegan restaurant. Justin says this new workout program is amazing. And me, I was like, whatever, it's no skin off my nose. But she wasn't just throwing his name around, she was displaying him as a trophy. The story moved quickly. Friends sent me messages saying they saw Carla and Justin in various places, hand in hand, laughing, playing the perfect couple, zero concern to hide it. One night, she walked in and declared, "For your information, Justin and I are together. It's time for you to accept it." I did, of course. I accepted that my wife had become a caricature of herself. She'd already emotionally left our marriage. What difference did a public affair make? But the more I learned about Justin, the angrier I got. He wasn't just a gym buff. Steve's investigation revealed a pattern. Justin had a history of targeting married women, showering them with praise, and getting them to leave their husbands. Dust, a master manipulator, preyed on Carla's vulnerability, exploiting her need for attention and validation. He painted a picture of shared grandeur, promising a lavish empire built on their combined assets. He boasted of future plans, a testament to their post-divorce success. However, Dust's true intentions extended beyond Carla's financial resources. His avarice aimed to exploit her assets as well. He sought not only her fortune, but also a portion of her savings. His audacious attempt to control the marital home further underscored his predatory ambitions. Dust anticipated a facile victory, convinced he could portray himself as a wronged party in court. He imagined a free pass to a new life, a life shared with the charming Justin, a man who resided in a wardrobe filled mostly with tank tops. This image of blissful reconciliation masked a treacherous reality. Carla, infatuated with Justin's persona and the semblance of luxury he projected, presented a distorted picture to the world. Their public displays of affluence, Expensive cars, exclusive restaurants were calculated attempts to impress and disguise the true nature of their arrangement. This facade, however, couldn't mask the growing friction between Justin's ostentatious nature and Carla's self-proclaimed diva persona. Their conversations, overheard by Carla, exposed tensions brewing beneath the surface. Carla, craving validation, clung to Justin's attention, yet she couldn't reconcile his past with the extravagant displays. The carefully crafted fairy tale was beginning to fray. Carla's unwavering belief in Justin's transformative power contrasted sharply with her deteriorating grasp of reality. Public pronouncements of their newfound success were thinly veiled attempts to conceal the true nature of their relationship. My irritation at Carla's choices contrasted with a profound irony. Her self-destructive path was a spectacle, a testament to her flawed judgment. She clung to the superficial allure of their supposed union, oblivious to the impending collapse. My lawyer, however, was prepared. He meticulously documented Carla's spending habits and Justin's past patterns, revealing a cycle of deceit and abandonment. He presented evidence of lavish spending on luxury items and designer clothing. This counteracted Carla's claims of financial hardship. Emails and messages surfaced, exposing Justin's deceitful history, his repeated pattern of exploiting women for financial gain, before fading into obscurity. Carla's delusion, however, remained unshaken. The mediation proceedings proved disastrous for Carla. Her expectations of a tearful plea and a favorable settlement proved unrealistic. Her lawyer's portrayal of her as an unjustly wronged spouse, bereft of her former partner's dreams, was undermined by the meticulous financial records. My attorney, armed with irrefutable evidence, dismantled her fabricated narrative. Carla's extravagant lifestyle, juxtaposed against my years of hard work, exposed her disregard for my financial contributions. The revelation of her high-end shopping sprees, coupled with evidence of deceit from Justin's past, shattered her carefully constructed facade. Justin's charm was lost as the truth emerged, revealing the hollowness behind his facade. Her attempts to justify her lifestyle and defend Justin's character proved insufficient. The judge, unimpressed by her theatrical performance, refused to grant the extraordinary financial demands she sought. Dust's carefully constructed mirage, designed to hoodwink everyone, ultimately crumbled under the weight of the unyielding truth. The court, recognizing the calculated deception, delivered a harsh judgment. The carefully crafted empire, once seemingly unshakable, was now fractured and exposed. Justin's once assured demeanor was replaced by a palpable sense of defeat. The carefully constructed mirage dissolved before the court's keen eye. Carla's behavior seemed to signal an impending departure. She abandoned her social media persona, shifting from boastful declarations to expressions of hardship like, "Growing pains are worth it," instead of "living my best life." Justin, meanwhile, was displaying subtle signs of distancing himself. Their shared appearances diminished, couples' photos vanished, replaced by a lack of public displays of affection. Whispers circulated that he had developed interest in a younger client, one unburdened by a complicated past relationship. One evening, Carla returned home in a state of distress. We still lived together, legally unable to separate her, throwing her expensive handbag onto the counter and sighing dramatically. I remained silent, retreating to my room, unwilling to engage in the inevitable interrogation. The next day, she attempted to rekindle conversation, suggesting Justin's busyness with clients. I ignored her, recognizing her ploy to draw me into a discussion about him. Her strategy ultimately failed. A turning point arrived in the form of a call from my lawyer. Carla had filed further legal documents seeking greater financial compensation, citing emotional distress stemming from the marriage. Ironically, my lawyer countered with a detailed account of how Carla had depleted our assets and manipulated the situation to her advantage. Even her carefully crafted Instagram posts, once showcasing her perceived lifestyle, became evidence against her. They portrayed her not as a victim, but as a self-absorbed individual reveling in the drama. During this tumultuous period, Dustin disappeared entirely, no longer a fixture at the gym. Carla's reaction intensified. She stopped answering calls, blocked me on social media. Her frantic calls to Justin, desperate pleas for communication, revealed the depth of her desperation. Friends later revealed that Justin was now dating another client, a younger, more modern woman, without the baggage of a contentious divorce. Carla's facade began to crack. She ceased her extravagant gym habits, abandoned her flamboyant fashion choices, and even took a social media break. Her entire existence had revolved around Justin and the perceived validation he provided. Without him, she seemed adrift, unsure of her role or purpose. One evening, she approached me, a marked shift from her previous behavior. "Dave," she began, We need to reconsider everything. This divorce has harmed us both. I waited, observing her, anticipating her next words. Perhaps we acted impulsively, she continued. We had good times. We laughed. But then came her remarkable shift to a new tactic. Carla, it was you who initiated the divorce. You said I was holding you back. Now you're trying to change your mind because Justin left you? The revelation was shocking. She had attempted to portray herself as a victim, but now she was attempting to manipulate the situation yet again. Her theatrics and claims of isolation and sacrifice were transparent. Carla, I stated firmly, you created this situation. It's impossible to simply reverse course now. Her pleas for reconciliation fell on deaf ears. She had sown the seeds of her own demise, and now she had to face the consequences. I removed myself from the confrontation. This marks the beginning of a new chapter. Remember Carla, attempting to emerge victorious from the courtroom, eager to begin a fresh life with Justin. The moment of truth has arrived. The final judgment day has arrived. Carla's demeanor appears to have shifted, perhaps hinting at the potential for a significant change. Her usual celebrity pose, complete with designer blazers and a smug smile, was nowhere to be seen. She and her lawyer seemed like two children headed for detention. A palpable energy hung heavy in the air, and I savored every moment. I arrived with Steve, a mountain of documents in his confident grasp. Honestly, after everything that had transpired, I had nothing left to fear. Carla had tried everything, yet I stood my ground. That day, it wasn't just about surviving, it was about winning. Her lawyer, as expected, initiated a standard line of attack, requesting emotional damages, claiming Carla was a victim of a suffering marriage because I hadn't supported her personal growth. It was as though I was to blame for her affair with Justin. Steve allowed them to speak alone, then it was our turn. Steve meticulously dismantled the lies, point by point. He presented messages proving not only that I supported Carla, but also that I went above and beyond to help her. I'd arranged for her to work out, managed household tasks, adjusted my schedule, and even prepared healthy meals. I'd even suggested we exercise together to improve our relationship. He exposed how her claim of emotional damages was a ploy to conceal her neglect of me. He showcased printouts of conversations where she called me a burden to her friends, boasted about Justin, and described me as Plan B. The pièce de résistance, however, was the financial aspect. Steve presented bank statements illustrating Carla's lavish spending of thousands of dollars from their joint account on luxury clothing, extravagant dinners, and other perks, while I struggled to make ends meet and paid all the household bills. Finally, Steve unveiled Carla's diary, obtained via subpoena. It essentially detailed her plan to abandon me, seize everything she could, and use the money to fund her new life with Justin. The judge perused the documents, appearing unconvinced by the contents. In a straightforward manner, the judge declared Carla's claim for emotional damages unfounded. There was no real proof that I'd harmed her in any way. On the contrary, the texts and messages demonstrated my efforts to support her. The financial evidence also decimated her case. The judge ruled that the house would remain mine, as I had solely financed it and she hadn't contributed. To add insult to injury, the judge ordered Carla to reimburse me $23,650 for her extravagant spending prior to the divorce proceedings. When the gavel fell, signifying the conclusion of the hearing, a significant weight lifted from my shoulders. Carla left the courtroom with her head bowed, devoid of her previous arrogance. Her lawyer hurriedly packed up the papers, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Steve patted me on the back, proclaiming, "We did it!" I could only express my gratitude. Outside the courtroom, I looked at Carla once more. She stood there, staring at the floor, completely lost. I even felt a flicker of pity, but it quickly subsided. She'd orchestrated this entire charade, and now she had to face the consequences. In the following days, she vacated the house, requesting more time to organize herself, but I refused to engage. She had ample time to flaunt her relationship with Justin. Ultimately, she packed her designer bags into an old borrowed car and departed without a goodbye. The tension that had once permeated the house was now replaced by peace. Her financial situation crumbled without my income or the joint account funds. She was on her own. I tried not to dwell on it. Word of mouth suggested that she had been selling expensive clothes and bags to settle debts, even resorting to borrowing from friends who were understandably frustrated by her excuses. Justin vanished, ceasing all contact and blocking Carla on social media. The act ended abruptly, about 2 weeks after the decision, and Carla appeared at my doorstep, her hair disheveled, her eyes shadowed, as if she hadn't slept in days. "Dave, can we talk?" she pleaded, and I stepped out, closing the door behind me. "What do you want, Carla?" I asked. She hesitated, her eyes brimming with tears. "I want to apologize for everything," she said. "I made poor choices and Justin misled me. I got caught up in a whirlwind and ultimately destroyed everything. It was all so desperate and yet somehow calculated. It seemed she was merely staying out of necessity. I felt a sense of indifference, a stark certainty about her actions. Carla, I don't know what you expect. You made your choices," I continued. "Decided to follow Justin, to try and take everything from me, and now you're paying the price." Tears streamed down her face. "Can't we try again?" she whispered. "I'm all alone, Dave," she admitted. "I'm lost." I stared at her, feeling a sense of relief, a conclusion. "Look, Carla," I said, "I gave you my support, my trust, my love, and you threw it all away. You can't simply reappear and expect a fresh start. It doesn't work that way." She collapsed onto my porch, weeping uncontrollably. I remained steadfast. After a moment, I entered the house, shutting the door, leaving her with her own regret. Since then, I've moved on, and from what I hear, Carla is still trying to rebuild, but she's severed many ties and now carries the weight of her actions. Sometimes karma doesn't knock, it bursts through the door, and for Carla, there are only the consequences of her choices to face.